you knock on the door and then someone can come and take the questions from you, inshallah. Let's start with Wasatiyya. Wa alaikum salam.
I was told in the hadith that the Rasulullah was in the cave of Hira. After he seen Jibril helped him, gave him the revelation.
No.
Then he ran. He ran real fast. And did Jibril, the Rural Qadr, say, "Oh Muhammad," and he turned and looked and seen him sitting and his wings span from east to west?
Yeah, so Jibril alayhi salatu salam appeared to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam in different forms. Sometimes Jibril will come to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam in a human form. So the famous hadith of Jibril where the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam was sitting in class and then Jibril came and then he said, Ya Rasulullah, ma huwa al-Islam, what is Islam, what is the Iman, what is this? Jibril came in the form of what? A human being. And sometimes, I think this happened twice to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he saw Jibril in Jibril's original malaika form. And that is also the first day where when he came out of the cave, Jibril spoke to him and then he turned and then he saw Jibril, he had covered the skies. And he's never seen something like that before. So he had to rush to Khadija and say, Khadija, clothe me, cover me up, cover words to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that, affirmed him on the path. That is why it's also important when you are getting married, you need to choose the right woman. Yes, because the position that Khadija, the role that Khadija played, it really eased a lot of stuff for the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As we say, when you're getting married, you need to choose the right wife. You, the sisters, when you're getting married, you choose the right man. Because there's nothing worse in this dunya than waking up to the wrong face every morning for the rest of your life. There's nothing worse than that. You wake up to the wrong face every day for the rest of your life. May the Almighty Allah. It's funny, but may the Almighty Allah safeguard us. So the hadith, yes, he saw Jibril, and he saw Jibril in Isra wal Mi'raj too, in the likeness of Jibril, same way. I think twice. I'm not sure if there's a third one. I might be mistaken, but according to my research, he saw Jibril twice. وَلَقَدْ رَآهُ نَزْلَةً أُخْرَى. So he saw Jibril 2 times. The first one, Ghar al-Hira, and the second one was on Isra wal Mi'raj. He saw Jibril in his what? In his malaika likeness. And Jibril has 600 wings. 600. And Jibril is bigger than the dunya that we are in now. He's bigger. And you see the angels on the day of Qiyamah, when the Almighty Allah says khuzuhu, when someone is going to be sent to Jahannam, the Zabaniya, the scouts of the Almighty, the soldiers of the Almighty Allah, when the Almighty Allah tells them khuzuhu, grab him, 70,000 of that are looking to grab you, not you, sorry, him. 70,000 are looking to grab. And look at you, look at us. And Jibril is bigger than the dunya. And 70,000 of Jibril are told to grab you. Akhirah is not a small deal. Listen, not even Jibril. Take one of our brothers here who are tall, thick, and strong. And they said 5 of them should grab you. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. So may the Almighty Allah safeguard us, inshallah. Yes, let's take your question, Abu Bakr, before we go to your uncle.
If you have the same intentions of getting the same rewards, say if I give you Zakatul Fitr for $150 and I just give Sheikh Ahmed $150 Zakat, do I get like the same reward?
So there are some ibadah that you can have one intention for 2 different ibadah, but then there are some ibadah that they stand alone. So for example, Zakatul Fitr stands alone. And Zakat al-Mal stands alone. So you can't kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. You can't kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. I hope you get it. Because, for example, Zakat al-Fitr, according to majority of the scholars, is food that you give out. Even though the Hanafi say you can give out money. The Hanafi say you can give out money. But then, the strongest opinion is food. But then, contemporary scholars are of the opinion that whatever is easier for the people, for the community, but then the Prophet ﷺ gave food. And the kind of food that the Prophet ﷺ gave is specific to his area. How many of you can eat 20 dates at a time? Dates fruit, 20. Because that's your food at that time. So, but then Zakat al-Mal has its specification. So we have Zakat In what? In animals. So if you have camels, when you have 5 or more camels, you need to give out one ram. Sheep, I think, is 100, and cow is how many? It's 25. You give one sheep. If you have sheep and goats, 120 of them, you give one. And the more you have sheep and goats, the more what you give. And even depending on what, sometimes it's going to be a 2 year, sometimes it's going to be a 1 year, depending. So you have this for the animals. And then if you have money, cash, if you have about 85 grams of 24 karat gold, this is about $5,927, approximate $6,000. You give 2.5% of that annually. So you can see that there's a difference between the two forms of what? Of ibadah. Even though you hear zakat in there, they are not the same. I hope you get it. Yes, so there's some ibadah that you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, but there's some ibadah you can't kill 2 birds with 1 stone. For example, there is Hajj Tamattu and Hajj Qiran and Hajj Ifrat. When you're going to do Tamattu, is the intention of doing Umrah and Hajj at the same time?
No.
Yes. Tamattu is doing Umrah and Hajj at the same time.
With the same.
You didn't understand. Tamattu, you do Umrah, and then afterwards you do Hajj. That's Tamattu.
So that's going on at the same time?
Yes. Yes. Not when I say at the same time, it doesn't mean you are doing Umrah and Hajj at the same time. Yes, not literally. Yes. Ifrad is doing only Hajj without taking the ihram of the ihram. Ifrad is doing Hajj without taking the ihram. So the moment you have the intention of doing Ifrad is what? Is throughout until you take off what? The ihram. You don't take off the ihram until what? Until after Hajj. Qiran, I need to explain better. Yes. Qiran is rather doing Umrah and Hajj with the same ihram. You do Umrah, you don't take the ihram off, and then you continue with Hajj. Tamattu is you do Umrah, you take off the ihram. When it's time for Hajj, you what? So I turn it upside down. That's why I got you guys confused. Tamattu, you do Umrah. After you've done your Umrah, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, you're done with the Umrah. You take off the Ihram. And then when it is Yawm Tarwiyah, you put on the Ihram and then you go to Mina.
Okay.
But then Qiran, when you do Umrah, you do not take off what? The Ihram. You remain in the Ihram until Yawm Tarwiyah, and then what? You go and do what? Your Hajj. The difference between Ifrad and Qiran is that when you come and do Tawaf al-Qudum for Ifrad, it suffices for you. But then for Qiran, it doesn't suffice. That's the difference between the two of them. I think we need to have a class on that. All that I'm trying to explain is that there are some ibadah that you can have one intention and do 2 different ibadah. But then there are some ibadah you cannot have one intention for 2. That's what. Maybe the Hajj is a bit, complicated. Yes. So, for example, Zakat al-Fitr and Zakat al-Mal are 2 different forms of ibadah. The way they are different. But then, when you come to Hajj, someone can have Tamattu, someone can have Ifrad, someone can have Qiran. And Qiran, you have Umrah and Hajj in the same Ihram. But then Tamattu, you have Umrah, different Ihram, and then Hajj, different Ihram. Yes. Allah Alam. Allah knows best. Maybe I brought a more complicated, example. Your question, and then we call it a day.
So, as far as like praying 4 rakats before Asr prayers, the Sunnah what?
No. The 4 rakats is before Zuhr.
I said no.
It's for Zuhr.
Something where they have 4 rakats before Asr, like a Sunnah mu'at.
I don't know that. I don't know of any 4 rakats before Asr. The 4 rakats I know is before Zuhur.
akwai su narration da cewa kamar inda mutum ya yi asunan shi raka 4 gabanin asar akwai Allah ya ba shi aljanna.
Oh, okay. So the Sheikh is helping us to understand that there's a narration, even there's a problem in the narration that some people say that when you pray 4 rakats before Asr, the Almighty is going to grant you something in Jannah. But then there's a problem with the narration. But what we know of the 12 that the Prophet Muhammad taught us is 2 before Fajr, 4 before Zuhur, that's 6. And 2 after Zuhur, that's what? That's 8. 2 after Maghrib, that's 10. And 2 after Isha, that's 12.
No, I understand that.
Yes. But the one after, the one before Asr, the 4 one, I don't know that. That's different. Now, you can do extra. You can do extra. You can do extra. Because for Nawafil, the Almighty Allah has given us, it's open-ended. But then for the Fard, that is what stipulated. 4 for Zuhur. No matter how high your Iman levels are, Fajr is 2 rakats. Don't give Allah any bonus. Don't give him any extra. No matter how Imanious you are.
So don't do extra.
No, what I'm saying is, Fajr is 2 rakats. It's 2. No matter how your Iman levels are high, don't give Allah more. He only wants 2 from you. That's it. That's what I mean. It's just a sarcastic statement. That's all.
And what about the Sunnah prayers after the sunrise?
The Sunnah, the rakats after that. No, it's 4. So Duha. Oh, Salatul Duha. Salatul Duha, yes. It's also Sunnah. But then the Prophet ﷺ didn't put it within the 12. And if you observe the 12, they are linked with a Salah. So Fajr, 2 before Fajr, linked with a Salah. 4 before Zuhur and 2 after Zuhur, they are linked with a Salah. 2 after Maghrib, linked with a Salah. 2 after Isha, linked with a Salah. But Duha, it has no link with any Salah. It stands on its own.
Is that salah prayed audible or silent?
For Nawafil, you can choose to pray audible, you can choose to pray silent. For Nawafil. Allah Alam. I think we have 2 more minutes. May the Almighty Allah safeguard us. Inshallah, we'll close our tafsir tomorrow. Inshallah, we'll have the last class for the tafsir tomorrow. May the Almighty Allah safeguard us. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum. To kula kan montage.